A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. You're welcome to today's episode of Punch Sports Extra. It's a Monday and it's noon. My name is Shegun Dumayo. I have my co-driver, co-anchor, and co-analyst here with me in the building. And together we'll be talking about the hot, yes, only the hot topics in the world of sports. Abiodun Adewale is my co-anchor, co-presenter, co-driver, co-analyst. Biodun, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shegun. Yeah. Good afternoon to you as well. Welcome to another ride with us.
All right, where do we start from this morning? Where else to start from but the front page of our darling Punch Sports Extra. And voila, Rangers, champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League. We knew that last weekend, but yesterday in Jos, they got the trophy. And did you see that fist pump from the man of the moment, Fidelis Ilechukwu, manager of Rangers, winning the trophy for Rangers the 8th time. But up there was not really where the news was, but down below. Sporting Lagos, one season it was in the NPFL, fairy tale journey, topsy-turvy journey, change of manager. The fans had a lukewarm approach to the end of the season because of the results. Finally, on the very last day of the league, just close by in Ibadan, Shooting Stars, 3SC of Ibadan, sent them packing. Biodun, they came, they saw, they couldn't conquer.
And they left.
And they left.
One thing was particularly befitting for me on the final day of the season. Not in Sporting Lagos case, actually, but it's in the case of Enugu Rangers. Yesterday, they were the first team on the table, and they played against the last team on the table to be crowned champions. They had already sealed it last week, but it was just only befitting that they played. It was a battle of number 1 and number 20 on the final day. We all knew Gombe United stood no chance. They have been relegated some 5, 6, 7 games to the end of the season. So, but congratulations to Enugu Rangers, you know, for everything that it's worth. They've labored and they've done anything. And if some boardroom decisions had even gone against them like a day or 2 days before the match, winning yesterday could have also handed them
the trophy.
The trophy as well. So good for them, 70 points. Now the bigger picture is going into the CAF Champions League next season. And that's where the real work is, because they will be playing the Champions League, the NPFL, and the Federation Cup next season. So I'll leave that for them to handle. And on the other end of the table, where the darling team of Lagos, Sporting Lagos, found themselves, they didn't see it coming. You know, they started the season like a house on fire.
Exactly.
4 good results, 4 or 5 good results at the start of the season. They were really looking good. And up until I think 8 games to the end of the season, they were still 13th position. But at that point, like we say in the Yoruba parlance, I mean in the informal Yoruba parlance, Osumo relegation,
continental.
So they were 13th on the table, but they were just like 3 points away from the drop zone. What did they do? They sacked their coach, Paul Offo.
Brought in a new man.
There were so many
experienced hand.
There were so many backstory about the sacking of Paul Offo, but it didn't prove right eventually. As Abdoulaye Bifo, who had managed in the NPFL before, only had 8 games to manage, but he could only win 2. He drew 2, and he lost 4 of them. So
he couldn't even win at home.
He couldn't even win at home because
they were drawing games.
They drew against Enugu Rangers, and I think the last straw that broke the camel's back was that defeat against Plateau United last week. You know, they had not lost at home in the season, all throughout the season. But that game was an impossible one for them, and that was where it ended. Yesterday, even if they had beaten 3SC by 3-0 or as many goals as possible, Bayelsa United had already to work in Benin City.
We'll come to, but in fact, there's a segment for the NPFL. We are just reviewing the front page of the newspaper right now, and I know Biodun is eager to talk about the NPFL season that just got concluded yesterday. But very quickly, still talking about the front page headlines this morning of our darling Punch Sports Extra. Samu Omorodion, you know, is in the news again. Where is Samu going? You know, reports have it on our page that he's being monitored and all that by Chelsea. I mean, and you begin to ask yourself, who exactly are the scouts of Chelsea Football Club of England? Last season, they brought in a 22-year-old Senegalese from Villarreal, and he was on fire in pre-season. And when the season started, his fire was put off very quickly. Towards the end of the season, he regained his spark again, and then people were starting to, they began to believe in the young man. Again, they are looking out for a Samuel Morodion. Great guy, but the question is, hey, can they land him? Still talking about the front page. Ese Brume, champion for the 4th time on the African continent. She has nothing to prove.
She does not ever fail to win a medal for Nigeria. At every competition she's been to, from the youth level to the senior level, she has never failed to win a medal. Even if it's bronze, she is going to get something. And she's been very dominant in Africa. It's either gold. If it's not gold, it's gold. And if it's not gold, she will manage silver.
Still talking about our front page this morning, Rabiot, who is obviously participating in the ongoing Euro 2024, is also said to likely be on the move. He's being monitored as well, one of the players that is currently being monitored. Do you think he's actually going to leave? Do you see it coming? Or
you know, when I saw the transfer news linking Andrew Rabiot, I was like, the first thing I had to check, because his name sounds like an household name that has been playing in midfield for a long time. I have to first go check his age. Oh, he's just 26, 27. So,
and he has been there.
Yeah, he has been there, like he's been there for the past 10
for
years.
ages.
so he looks like the kind of midfielders that some top clubs will want to go after. So I wasn't surprised after all when I saw his age and I saw how long he's been there and why those clubs are chasing him. But it's a matter of making the right moves eventually. And where he plays, Juventus, are a team, I think they want to push out players as a team.
At the moment.
They also want to bring out
new guys.
They want to bring in new guys as well. So it might be business eventually.
All right, many persons are familiar with his brother, Inaki Williams, but the younger William brother is doing magic with Spain at the moment in Euros. And they also have said Arsenal Football Club of England have their eyes on him. Will he do wonders in England? Do you think he's the missing piece in Mikel Arteta's jigsaw to getting the EPL trophy?
Well, maybe Arteta has everything. Maybe that's just one more thing that he needs. But one thing that Arteta and Arsenal are also assessing before even making a move for this guy is how his arrival will unsettle their dressing room because of the players that they have. You know, they seem to have a player for every position.
Yeah.
So it looks like he might. Will he be first choice instantly? Will he
be on the bench?
Will he be on the bench and all of that? But
can he partner Bukayo up front?
Up front, but that guy I saw in the Euros, in that game against Italy, should go into the first team of any team that pays for him this summer. And even Barcelona are not left out.
Yeah, in chasing him. Yeah. If you ask me, I think I would just advise, just go to Barcelona. You are short of a trophy in Barcelona. I mean, your bad day in Barcelona is your best. I mean, the bad season for Barcelona is probably the best season for Arsenal. You know, you are playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. You are getting to the pinnacle really fast.
He's already in Spain. It looks like
you understand the system. He's just a plug.
Look at the way he played alongside Yamal on both flanks. They could switch.
Those boys
could do everything together.
Oh
so
my God!
If they are both at Barcelona, it's only just going to be some form of chemistry that we might not have even seen before.
All right, away from the front pages. Now, if you want more, you can just see your vendor and get a copy of Punch Sports Extra. You'll be enjoying it. It's a whole lot. Very quickly now, we move on to talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League properly now. And like we were saying before, Rangers were crowned for the 8th time champions of Nigerian football local league this time around. And Fidelis Ilechukwu finally laid his hands on that trophy. Of course, if you know him, if you've been following Nigerian football for a while, you know he was with different MFM, FC.
First coach.
Yeah, while there at Agege, and you know, he was just a young coach coming up, and he was just there doing his thing, and then he was moving around. You could see the fans yesterday in Jos. Yeah. They were hailing him because I think they are familiar with him as well. Very familiar with him. And even though he was not playing at home yesterday, the fans in Jos, ensured that he was at home at the new Jos Stadium on Zaria Road yesterday.
Let me give you a little bit of backstory about Fidelis Ilechukwu and the NPFL title and his managerial career so far. You know, he started with MFM, like someone who was not even going to be a coach. We published an interview that I had with him last week, Friday, and he told me how he was running a club as the owner, Talented FC. And MFM came, approached them. They wanted to make the team their own. They told him to be the coach. He said he was the owner and not the coach of the team. But he had no coach at that moment because he could not afford to pay them. He was just managing those boys. Along the line, they won competition or the other. They won, took him into the system. told him to go for training courses instead of expanding his business, which he was doing by the side. And that was how they went into the Church World Cup, played through the NNL, and got promoted into the NPFL. He spent like approximately like 14, 15 or 16 years at MFM before he finally made the move to another club. I mean, we saw him at Atland as well, and he was quite comfortable. But in Jos, it was like he was in his second home at Plateau United. And part of the things he also told me was that winning the league with Rangers, he probably would have to take permission to take the trophy to Jos. Because when he left them last season, nobody expected it. But it was just befitting that the final game of the season was moved away from Gombe
and played in Jos.
Stadium.
Yeah,
so he really felt at home, and the Jos fans they were like, okay, Fidelis in the Chukwu's title.
It's like our title.
And you saw the video of Plateau United players on their
way to celebrating when Rangers was coming to Jos.
So it was just, everything was just befitting, and I think it should just bask in the moment, and let's just wait for what they will be able to do next season.
Personally, it's a good one. Somehow my heart has been with the clubs he has been a part of. MFM at a point, Plateau United at a point, and I'm just seeing him grow from just being a roadside coach. Reports added that his first job with MFM, he wasn't earning up to 100,000 naira at then.
He was in the amateur league.
Yes, he was just, just a young man looking for how to survive. His football career just, rounded off because of a rumored injury. And he was just looking for, okay, what are we doing next? And look at him now at the very pinnacle, at the zenith, at the optimum of Nigerian football, club football career. It's a good one for Fidelis Ilechukwu. Congratulations to Rangers as well. 150 million naira, Biodun. Many persons have come out to say this is too small for champions of the league. The amount we use in prosecuting a game is even high. But 150 million, I mean, on cable TV, perhaps not the most popular cable TV, and just one game in a week or a few games in a week. But somehow, I think we are different from where we used to be.
I think that's just the solace, because if you look at all the metrics, you want to say that 150 million for the winners of the NPFL is nothing to compare to where they will be. Few days ago, I think we mentioned this. I personally I feel the winners of our league should be getting at least 500 million.
Half a billion
naira. But good that we are back on TV for a league that has been without a sponsor for at least 4 or 5 seasons. That has been away from TVs. I think the last time we saw it on TV was on NTA when they were trying to revive it in 2020.
Then they brought it to one app.
NPFL Live. Brought another NPFL Live app again this season, but this season they seem to have unbundled everything that have been bundled before. So they had rights for TV, they had rights for some over the top and other means of streaming and all of that. So the TV deal itself is about 5 billion naira for 5 years.
5 billion,
and that will not cover what the teams will get alone. But the question that I'm still asking is, if the winner gets 150 million,
how much the other guys
how much about the other teams from second position to 20th position?
Government.
Owned by state government. So what they just get is allocations monthly.
And then they feed.
And they just feed and they move. It's just wash, rinse and repeat.
Simple.
That is just what they do. But hopefully we'll see teams coming into the NPFL, private clubs, trying to run the system and all the system the way it should be. We will get there. It just takes time. One
private club that is getting things right at the moment is the club that ended second, Remo Stars. Remo Stars of Ijebu Remo. This will be their 3rd season playing on the continent. 2 seasons ago, they played the CAF Confederations Cup. Even though they couldn't make it into the group stages, where they were supposed to get how much again? I remember myself and Biodun were talking about it then.
How much they will get?
I think it was $500 million. No, $500,000 for getting to that stage. Yeah, to get into the group stage. We didn't get into the group stage. We don't have details of how much they got eventually, because what was made public was how much they would have gotten if they had gotten into the group stage. Last season, Champions League, they didn't eventually get into the group stage of the Champions League.
They didn't even get to the second round.
To the second qualifying round.
They got to the second round.
No. Yes, they got into the second qualifying round. They played against the North African team, but they did not get into the group stage.
It was a team from Ghana.
No, the last one.
Dream FC of Ghana was the team that.
No, the last one was in September 2023, and it was against a North African side, because I remember I watched that game in Remo. Then they didn't get into the group stages where they were supposed to get the big money, because if they are paying $500,000 for qualification at the CAF Confederations Cup, which is the second tier, the Champions League will be bigger money. But they didn't get into that. This time around, the question remains if Coach Ogumodede, popularly known as Ijabo, can win the NPFL after coming second for the second consecutive season, and also get into the group stages of African continental football. These two things.
You know, the second one, if they are able to do it, you know, they will be cementing their place as one of the best clubs out of Nigeria. At this point too, in terms of structure and everything, they look like the best thing that has happened to Nigerian club football in a long time. But Ogumodede and his boys on the field need to rubber stamp their authority.
They don't know how to win away, really.
Yeah, you know, they came agonizingly short of winning the title last season before they just
before this one.
You know, they will be. I don't know how hard they will have beaten themselves, knowing that they lost that title for failing to score more than a goal in a particular match. So it's that painful to have lost that way. And this season they fought until the very end. But Rangers are done.
They have done the job.
They have done the job at some very important stage of the
delicate point of the season.
So they just need to rubber stamp that authority. Coming back into the league next season, I know even the just concluded season, some of the conversations Ogumodede had with the press and even with Punchport Extra was more about how they want to go into the season with some fire, how they intend to, but things didn't work out, especially in the Champions League. In the NPFL, they thought they could have been able to just push for another title, but they live to fight another day. But then, aside from living to fight another day, they should live to win some days and let other teams fight them to win the title as well. So I think they need to etch that status of a title winning team. So they should come back next season and just take it more harder, hit the league more harder than they did, get their points where it is very important, and they will be champions eventually. And by then, even if it's one title and a very appreciable progress in the Champions League, we will clap for them. They will come back another season. We will be saying, okay, they should be able to go as far as the semi-finals or even win the Champions League. So it's step by step. This is a team that has been in the making for a few years. Ogumodede himself
was with them.
Has only played in his second season in the NPFL.
He was even an assistant manager at a point who took over after his boss left.
So he has only played he has only managed 2 seasons in the NPFL himself. So great pedigree. But then I need them to take it higher and just rubber stamp it, especially for the southwest region of the country, because if you check the records, the last time a team won from the southwest was Shooting Stars in some years. That is long from now. So it is not just about, this is not even about Zoni or anything, but then if they are that good, we need them.
We need proof.
Yes.
All right. You know, it's interesting when you talk about the NPFL. Really very interesting. Congratulations to Enyimba getting the automatic spot for the CAF Confederations Cup. Yesterday they were drawing their first half and shooting was winning. So shooting fans was not just monitoring their own game, they were monitoring the Enyimba game. And Enyimba was still playing 0-0. Second half started, 55 minutes, it was still 0-0. Shooting fans were thanking God and thanking their stars. As they were watching their game, they were monitoring online and looking at the results. Guess what? Enyimba scored the first goal, Enyimba got the second goal, and even though they were winning in Ibadan, they were losing at the same time because they knew that the victory was not enough to get them a continental spot. Biodun, very quickly, Enyimba didn't win a trophy. Coach Finidi George was their manager, eventually handed over to his second in command after he became Super Eagles manager. Shooting Stars of Ibadan with Benga Ogumbote, the man who had seen it all, the man with the pitch, go into the pitch, commit suicide, and come out alive. Eventually, despite Shooting Stars fast attacking him at the beginning of the season, eventually they ended well, and
I'm sure they will be begging him to stay.
If they had had a good beginning, I guess the worst they would have had was at least qualify for CAF Confederations Cup.
Sure, they would have got it because their rivals who got the tickets, Enyimba, ended the season the way they started it, because this is not the best of finishes from Enyimba, because it is just the exact way they started the season. And I think their season started from a low point. They went up and they just went down again. Good for them that they got that consolation CAF Confederation Cup ticket.
Yeah.
And to me, honestly, they look like the ideal representative of Nigeria on the continent. Because you will always trust them.
Yeah.
You will always trust
them to do something.
You trust them to do the job. And of course, for 3SC, people say it, and it's a popular opinion, and I agree with it. This is their best season in about a decade. They've struggled over time. And
they won the fans over.
Remember this particular fan, Wasiu?
Yeah.
Who became
Wasiu was in tears yesterday.
Wasiu was in tears yesterday because they missed the continental ticket. But
he's on for a while now.
And you know how hard Wasiu was on Ogumbote and the players when they were
doing badly.
When they were really doing badly. So it was a thing of joy for them to have won their fans over. See Adelowo, their guy Adelowo yesterday,
getting the player of the season.
38 matches. Throughout the season, and his mom was even there on the pitch yesterday to celebrate with him, and he got a 500,000 naira check from Governor Seyi Makinde as well. So this is like their best season in a decade.
In a long while.
So it's a matter of building on it. Coach Benga Ogumbote is not the one that you keep for a season. He is the kind of man that travels a lot. I won't be surprised. He's a nomad in the NPFL. I won't be surprised to see him at Enyimba or any other club next season. But I think a serious team like 3SC, if they are as serious as they ended the season, they should be increasing Ogumbote's salary for him to stay next season and see what they will be able to do. Either fight for the title or the biggest continental ticket
next season. All right, let's talk about the teams that did not make it. By not making it, I mean the guys that came, that saw, but unfortunately could not conquer, or that left, like Biodun said. Two privately owned clubs, Sporting Lagos and Doma United. I remember Doma was so good at the point. Their goalkeeper had games.
9 clean sheets. Back to
games when he had clean sheets. And people were even saying, call him into the Super Eagles. This guy is doing a great job. Call him to the Super Eagles. That was just before we were preparing for the Nations Cup. Call him to the Super Eagles. Guess what? When the noise for calling to the Super Eagles got to the highest, to the optimum, to the zenith, to the peak, that was when he started conceding goals. He started conceding these goals as if they had kept it somewhere for him. And eventually they were coming down like Frosinone in Italian Serie A. And I was looking at both Doma and Frosinone and saying, you guys went high at a point. You guys are coming down.
It was like
you guys are coming down. And just before we could, in fact, Jack Robinson, they were not just down, but out. Same for Sporting Lagos. Where did these privately owned clubs get it wrong?
For Sporting Lagos, it was about their players. You know, they sacked Paul Offo. He looked like the problem, but it was more like their players. I watched a number of their games at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, and I even watched one on TV. You know, when you watch games at the stadium, you see things. But when you even watch on TV, you see that it's a little bit different. Their players were poor piece, except for 1-2 exceptional guys. And if I will pick one or two, maybe Christian Nwoke, their goalkeeper, he had a fantastic season.
Aluku, Barbie Boy.
Jonathan Aluku, the Barbie Boy. And this guy who came in frequently, Godwin Odibo, who at some point was at Ikorodu City FC. So maybe, but they got it wrong in terms of the quality of players they needed. But for Doma United, I think the problem that happened to them was thinking they had a problem when they really did not have. They brought in a technical to come head their head coach, to come be the boss of their head coach, just like the NFF was trying to do. And that was when they lost they lost everything at that point, and it looked like a graph. Kingdom Osai, their goalkeeper, seems to be the highest gainer though, because before the season ended, he got a move to Sweden. So at the end of the season, he will be packing his bag
and moving abroad. All right, our producers are saying it's time for us to go, but hey, 4 guys went down, 4 clubs went down, 4 clubs are coming up, including Ikorodu City Football Club. So Lagos is going to be having a representative next season. Since Sporting is going down, perhaps Ikorodu City Football Club will be using the Mobolaji Johnson Stadium.
Definitely.
Beyond Limits are also coming up. They are affiliated to Remo Stars. Remo Stars will be playing in the CAF Champions League. I was watching them last season in their qualifying stage around September, October last year, when they, were trying to get into the Champions League. By the special grace of God, I'll be doing the same thing again this season, and I'll also be following what is going on in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We also advise that you do same. It's our league, it's your league. Let's talk about it. If we don't talk about it, nobody else we'll talk about it. The Euros continue today, and of course, the guys that are out. Hungary yesterday survived. But like I said, our producers are saying it's time for us to go. Thank you very much for being a part of this package. The last for the month, because when we come back next week, it's going to be a new... Next week is the next... No. When we come back next, it's going to be a new month. Yeah, this is the last month.
The last Monday in June.
Yeah, the month of June. On behalf of Abiodun Adewale, our producers, and everybody else in the house, is a goodbye from Michelle Godwin saying have a fantastic week. Stay out of trouble. God bless you.